The opening ceremony is just a week away, but in Tokyo, what's growing isn't excitement, but lockdown measures. And not just for athletes, but for officials, the world's media, and especially the Japanese people. Adrienne Arsenault is part of a small CBC News team in Tokyo. She'll be reporting and hosting from there throughout the Games. Good morning, Adrienne. I gather restrictions that were already tight are now getting tighter?
Yeah, hey there, Asha. It's pretty striking, isn't it, to think that this could get even more locked down. But this city, Tokyo, is in its fourth state of emergency. It just recorded more daily cases than at any other day in the last 6 months, roughly 1,300. And so now, as the preparations are ramping up, so is the anxiety. And some of the new restrictions just announced are very likely going to take a lot of the heart out of this whole experience. So, for example, those iconic images you've surely seen over years of Olympics of athletes having medals placed around their necks won't happen this time. Instead, they will be handed their medals on a tray. They will have to put them around their own necks, presumably. And this on top of the reality that athletes are being kept in such a tight bubble to ensure they don't mix with those from other countries or the host country. Now, Thomas Bach, the IOC president, made that announcement about the medals and then offered what he likely thought were very reassuring words. Have a listen.
So the risk for the other residents of the Olympic Village and the risk for the Japanese people is zero.
So that's a pretty bold claim, but it's really being doubted here. Really, only 30% of the Japanese population has had a single dose, and so people are saying that they feel vulnerable, but also stuck, that they know these games are going ahead like it or not, and most don't like it, but that also they see the joy being sucked out of the experience. So not only are most spectators banned, for example, but now organizers say they're closing public access to the cauldron, that place where in past games you would go and take lots of pictures. The fan zone is closed, the fan activity center is closed. So now, beyond watching on camera, there's not really much of an experience for the Japanese public to have with these games, which feels especially cruel given how enthusiastically they bid for them and how big the sports fans in this nation are.
Given all of that, how does it work with the media, people like you and the rest of our team? What can and can't you do?
Well, for the first 14 days, there's not really a lot we can do. Anyone who comes here has to be tested at least twice before they get on the plane, and then it happens again as soon as you land. For our team here with CBC, we're tested every single day, so that's what this big bag of treats is all about. These are the vials for the spit tests. There are a lot more rules. No public transportation, no restaurants, no stores. You're restricted in who you can speak with on the street. You can only go to pre-approved locations like this one. You can't get out of the vehicle between your hotel and this location. And so we are asked to load what are really surveillance apps on phones with the commitment that the GPS is always on and you have to always keep your phone on. So it is incredibly strict, but anyone who comes here to either work or compete understands that they are guests in this country and that you're wandering into a Japan where people have been asked to host a party but are starting to feel like they're not invited to it. Asha?
All right, thanks so much, Adrienne. Adrienne will be hosting the National from Tokyo next week and will have special coverage throughout the Games.